Throughout the course of history, there have been players who have set unbreakable records. So in today's video, we'll go over a few of those unbreakable records while also deciding on who in the modern day could hypothetically break them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Maybe the most unbreakable record of all time is the historic 100-point game, set by none other than Wilt Chamberlain. The date was March 2nd, 1962, and the Philadelphia Warriors were set to face the New York Knicks at Hershey Sports Arena in Pennsylvania. Chamberlain, a towering force at 7'1", was already a basketball phenomenon. He was known for his immense scoring ability and dominance on the court. As the game commenced, Chamberlain wasted absolutely no time showing the Knicks why they had no business even suiting up that night. His sheer physical stature combined with an unparalleled scoring touch saw him racking up points at a staggering pace. The Knicks defense seemed powerless against Chamberlain's offensive onslaught, and by halftime, Chamberlain had already amassed 41 points, a formidable total by any measure. But what followed in the second half was nothing short of astonishing. Some NBA players have never even scored 40 in a single game, and here Wilt is dropping it in the first half. But with each basket, the crowd's anticipation grew, witnessing history in the making. The 100-point mark loomed closer with every shot. As the game clock ticked away, Chamberlain continued his assault on the Knicks defense. Teammates and opponents alike were in awe, realizing that they were witnessing something that had never been done before. With seconds left on the clock, Chamberlain secured his place inside the world record books, scoring his 100th point. The final score read 169 to 147 in favor of the Warriors, but the spotlight was firmly on Chamberlain's historic achievement. His 100-point game became a beacon of basketball folklore, a feat that seemed almost superhuman, and as we all know, the record remains unchallenged to this day. However, as the NBA gets more and more skilled, it's becoming more and more possible by the day. For example, last season, Donovan Mitchell put up 71 points versus the Chicago Bulls, the most points scored in 17 years, with the previous second highest scoring game set by Kobe Bryant with 81. Mitchell had gotten 20 of his points from the free throw line and 21 points from the three-point line. It's also important to note he played 50 minutes due to the game going into overtime. Nonetheless, it's still incredibly impressive. On February 2nd, 2023, Damian Lillard would also put up 71 points. However, this was much more impressive than Mitchell's. Not only did he shoot and make all 14 of his free throws and made 13 threes, but he did it all in just 39 minutes. Yeah, you heard that right. Dame dropped 71 points in 39 minutes. So you see, players are getting close, but honestly, it just doesn't seem realistic for anyone to add another 30 to that, no matter how many minutes they play. With that being said, let's get hypothetical for a second. What current players are most likely to accomplish this? Well, I've got three picks, who are Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and Joel Embiid. Steph and Dame are pretty obvious. They can shoot the deep ball better than anyone else in NBA history, while also being excellent free throw shooters. But when it comes to Embiid, you won't find many centers more offensively skilled than him. He's had 5 50-point games and well over 20 40-point games. The reason he's our pick to do it is because he's excellent within the three-point line. He makes a strong case for being the best mid-range scorer and free throw shooter in NBA history among centers. With the way he can draw fouls, he could easily get to the free throw line between 15 and 25 times on a good night. And of course, he has the stroke to do it as well. He's also the best post scorer in the NBA, depending on who you ask. But even if you put someone like Jokic over him in this category, he's still a top 2 post scorer, worst case scenario. But I want you guys to let me know who you think could score 100 points in today's NBA. Let us know in the comments down below. This next unbreakable record is a record we personally think is even more unbreakable than the 100 points, and that's Bill Russell's 11 championships. Our story commences in the late 1950s when a lanky, agile center from the University of San Francisco entered the NBA scene. Drafted by the Boston Celtics in 1956, little did anyone know that this would mark the start of the most victorious career in basketball history. Russell didn't just win, he concocted a brew of championship magic. His recipe? A dash of unparalleled defensive commitment, a dollop of tenacious rebounding, and a sprinkle of leadership that transformed the Celtics into an unstoppable force. From 1957 to 1969, the Celtics were more synonymous with winning than sunshine with California. Russell led the charge, collecting championships like souvenirs on a world tour. His ability to perform under pressure and turn the seemingly impossible into reality was nothing short of legendary. While Bill Russell's legacy as an 11-time NBA champion is indisputable, there's often a playful banter around the competition he faced during this dominant era. Picture this, an era of vintage shorts, vintage dribbling, and a basketball landscape that differed vastly from the modern game we know today. Amidst the charm of that time, there were whispers, gentle jabs if you will, about the level of competition Russell encountered during his reign of championships. Step into a time machine and travel back to the late 1950s and early 1960s, where basketball was a different ballgame altogether. Picture grainy footage, black and white screens, and players who doubled as part-time accountants in the offseason. This was the backdrop against which Russell's dynasty unfolded. But now let's address the elephant on the court, the competition. Critics often joke that during Russell's era, the league wasn't exactly a battleground of giants. Imagine a center matchup between Russell and his adversaries. Some might argue that the height discrepancy resembled more of a mismatch in today's standards. The NBA back then wasn't exactly bursting at the seams with the global talent pool we see today. Some opponents might have been talented, but the depth and the breadth of the competition were, well, a tad shallower. Was it a case of Russell being too good, or his opponents not being good enough? That is a question that sparks endless debates among basketball aficionados. And I say all of that to drive home my point that the reason no one will ever win 11 championships is because the NBA is simply better than it was back then. Nowadays, every team in the NBA has a star or soon-to-be star on their roster. The Warriors have Steph, Kings have De'Aaron Fox, Bucks have Giannis, 76ers have Embiid, Mavericks have Luka, Magic have Paolo, Thunder have SGA, Spurs have Wembanyama, and the list goes on. Even the few teams who don't have a legit star like the Pistons or the Jazz still have a roster full of players who are so skilled that they would have made the players in the 60s look like middle schoolers. And not only that, but with the NBA being so damn talented right now, every team is stacked with great depth. Every year, each team is getting more and more evened out, leveling the playing field. The thought of someone winning 11 championships in the modern day just seems so out of the realm of possibility that I can't even begin to make a hypothetical statement about who could do it. It just won't happen. Hopefully I'm wrong. It would be cool to see someone make a run like that, but with the parity in today's league, it just seems impossible. The last unbreakable record we'll dive into is the shortest player in NBA history, Muggsy Bogues. In a league where the average height hovers around 6'6", being shorter can feel like standing in the shadow of skyscrapers. The unspoken bias towards taller players might seem like an insurmountable hurdle for those lacking in height. From a young age, aspiring hoopers around the world dream of making it to the NBA, but those dreams often collide with reality. The emphasis on height in scouting and recruitment can discourage shorter players from pursuing their NBA dreams. In a sport where rebounds, blocks, and dunks reign supreme, height confers a distinct advantage. Taller players simply have easier access to the rim, dominate the boards, and can alter shots with their wingspans, skills that seem tailor-made for NBA success. But despite the odds stacked against him, Bogues' basketball journey took an improbable turn when he was drafted 12th overall by the Washington Bullets in the 1987 NBA draft. Suddenly, the NBA had its shortest player ever. But little did they know, they also gained a giant in spirit and skill. From his rookie season onwards, Bogues quickly became a fan favorite, dazzling crowds with his lightning-quick speed, mesmerizing ball handling, and a court vision that seemed to defy logic. He was rewriting the rulebook on what a small player could achieve in the NBA. While not known for prolific scoring, Bogues held his own. His speed and agility allowed him to penetrate defenses, and he averaged a respectable 7.7 points per game, showcasing his ability to contribute offensively despite his stature. Bogues' ability to take care of the basketball was admirable. With a career average of just 2.8 turnovers per game, he displayed exceptional ball control and decision-making, crucial for any playmaker. And you would think he was completely helpless due to his size. However, defense knows no height, and Bogues proved it time and time again. He was a pesky defender, swiping steals and disrupting passing lanes. Throughout his career, he averaged 1.5 steals per game. And there you have it. These were only just a few unbreakable records out there. If you liked this video and would like a part 2, feel free to let us know in the comments so we can get it out there as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.